So what should I do, buckaroos? How the heck are ya? I'll be Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this video anyway. How the heck are you? Make sure everything's working here. Bear with me. Anyway, so I decided to do this new segment. I kind of did one the day before I realized what I was going to do. Since Tuesdays I'm going to be off, I do a Monday segment, but I kept thinking 10 o'clock. It's always about 10 o'clock news. So we're not actually going to do news. You know that, right? Might talk about a few current things going on, but that's kind of what it's going to be. Anyways, let me get it straightened up here. Get that. Oh, put it there. There we go. I think that's good enough. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer Whiskey Whisperer, at least for the purposes of this video. And I haven't opened anything yet. Sometimes I haven't opened and take a picture, but I wanted to do this with you. This is going to be a rather spontaneous video. There's nothing rehearsed, nothing written down. We're just going to wing it. I got this Missouri List Company beer at 9.5%. Missouri Strong. It is brewed in collaboration with, well, just a shitload of breweries, and I'm not going to list them all off for you. Belgian style quad, it says. Anyway, let's pour it. I got a snifter here. We will pour some of it into. I'm going to pair it with a whiskey, but I haven't decided which whiskey I wanted to use either, to be honest with you. We're going to wing that too. But I am getting near the end of this one, so I'll probably just try to finish it up. Now that I see it there. It is the Bourbon Rubenesque. It's a single barrel bottled in bond. This was a single barrel bottled in bond. Yeah, at 100 proof. Got a 2-ounce glass here. This is a 2-ounce pour. So pour that in there. See how much is left in this bottle here after I pour that 2 ounces. Well, that was a little bit shy of 2-ounce pour. I'm going to pour a little bit more in there. Make sure we got at least 2 ounces in there. There we go. This was the Blue Society of the Ozarks picks. Let me show you both sides of that bottle there. There's the front. There we go. Show us that side, Tom. Anyways. Oh, mercy. I'm tired. Didn't get off. Got off a little after 9, so I figured to set the video up for 10, and we'll have a little conversation. I talk about some things going on. I delve into a little religion, politics, or just the beer and the whiskey. Who knows? Of course, we got that debate coming up this week. Somebody asked me the other day if I was going to watch it. I am not. There's no point, man. Regardless of what anybody tells you, there's not a person in this country that hasn't decided, who is eligible to vote, who hasn't decided already who they're going to vote for, or if they're going to vote at all. That decision's already made. Anybody that claims to be an independent, they're just lying to you and themselves. They already know. They just don't want to tell you. That's why, well, I'm an independent. No, you're not. Nobody's an independent. That's just what people say. They don't want to divulge which side of the aisle they're on. Anyway, last beer, how are you? Let me show you this one more time here. Man, that beer looks gorgeous. That's a gorgeous looking one. I guess it doesn't really translate there to the screen, but in my hand there, I got this nice, I got the light shining behind me. I got this nice little ruby hue, but when I look at the screen, I don't see that you see it the same way that I do. Uh, la- Last beer. Cheers. Happy Monday. I'm gonna post your comment there. Last beer, I guess it says. That's a lost beer first. Anyway, anyway, I digress. Nice to be home, but I am off tomorrow, so that's why I want to do this. I'll start doing this 10 o'clock Monday segment since I am off on Tuesdays. You'll be seeing me less on the weekends. I'm going to be working more weekends, so you won't see me as much on Fridays and Saturdays as I once was. Kind of work with the schedule. Kind of like doing the Monday thing, no? Mondays are great days at work because we're dealing with primarily mug clubbers, and that's always a lot of fun. But I do like dealing with new folks too. Beautiful nose on this, as you would expect. I mean, you might get hints of dark fruit as a quad might give you. When I do whiskey and beer pairings, I'm not necessarily looking for like flavors and aromas. I'm looking for complementary flavors and aromas that will work well together or play off each other. As a friend of mine likes to point out, once you've had one, your palate is different. So it's going to accept the other different than it would before. I do love the nose on this whiskey, man. Oh, that's nice. Anyways, drinking a nice double dry hop West Coast IPA by Other Half Brewing. Well, that sounds good. Can't go wrong with a double dry hop West Coast IPA, or double IPA, I should say. I was kind of in the mood, even though it's hot as hell out there. It's not necessarily the weather for it. I was in the mood to have a big decadent beer, which is why I picked this Missouri Loves Company quad to drink this evening. I'll post your comment there, last beer. I mean, I can't imagine anything said in the debate is going to change anybody's mind. Well, it's likely to be a complete shit show. And if you're for one, you're gonna hear all the mistakes that the other one makes, and vice versa. And then that's what it's going to be. All the next day, you're going to hear, well, so and so was so bad they said this. The other side's going to go, yeah, so and so did this. One candidate has always been gaff prone, and the other one's just a raving lunatic. So anything can happen. But I guarantee you, there's not a person in this country that hasn't decided already who they're going to vote for, or if they're going to vote at all. And anybody that claims to be an independent is lying to you and themselves, because nobody's an independent. They know. They just don't want to tip what side of the aisle they're really on. Mm. This is a nice bourbon. Woodhat does some big, bold stuff, and this one is no exception. Being bottled in bond, it must be bottled in bond Act of 1897. This product is produced by a single distillery in a single season, aged a minimum of 4 years, bottled at 100 proof. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is damn near perfect. And I'm a big fan of buying small label products. There are those collectors out there, I guess, those secondary market guys that I'm not a fan of. I mean, they're all just profiteering. Some will tell you, well, that's what capitalism is about, Tom. Well, that may be true, but it doesn't make it right. Some will tell you you should have specific bottles of bourbon in your collection And that's only because they want to sell you specific bottles of bourbon, or they want you to go out and buy it and drive up the price of said bourbon so they can sell a product for a lot more than it's worth, a lot more than they paid for it. And I just don't like that sort of behavior, so I don't condone it, which is why I've been kicked out of a few groups, because I say these things out loud and they don't like to be told the truth. But whether we're talking about bourbon, beer, or anything, secondary market is designed to rip people off. It's designed to convince you need products that you don't need. And I said a million times before, if somebody's going to charge you $100 for a $25 bottle of whiskey, well, take that same amount of money you were going to spend, go to your nearest liquor store, and I guarantee you're going to find a local or semi-local product on the shelf for probably less than that, and your money is going to be better spent. So for me, yeah, I want to support Wood Hat. Uh, I want to support distilleries like Wood Hat. I want to support distilleries like Pinckney Bend, Huling Station, Restless Spirits, Union Horse, as small as humanly possible. Hochatown. I guess I don't have a big mainstream, but the one probably less small would be the Heaven's Door, backed by Bob Dylan here. But this stuff is just good. And being a Bob Dylan fan, I felt like I had to have it. Had to have it, man. As we get to the end of June, we'll get towards 4th of July. I'll be honest, I like the spirit of the holiday. I don't necessarily like what it entails. Meaning, I've never been a big fireworks guy. I don't understand the need to watch things blow up. I don't have that gene. And if I had excess money to spend, it certainly isn't going to be to light something on fire and have it be gone in 30 seconds. I don't have that. I like the idea of what we're celebrating, and I like the idea of bringing family together and grilling whatever you want to grill. But the whole fireworks thing has never meant anything to me at all. And partially this reasons kind of brings out the worst of America. You've got a certain segment of society that wants to celebrate the worst of us. They want to go and spend as much money as they have on fireworks and do stupid things. And I just don't want to be a part of that either. And here in the Ozarks, it's usually hot and humid as hell over the 4th of July. And it's been hot and humid as hell lately here, a little bit earlier than typical. And quite frankly, I'd rather be inside in some air conditioning. If I want to watch something, I'll just turn on the fucking TV. There's bound to be somebody showing fireworks somewhere if I so desire to see that. But quite frankly, I'll probably come home from work, get comfortable, get back in the AC, and watch a movie, pour myself a nice glass of whiskey, possibly a beer, and watch a movie and relax my way, where I'm not with a bunch of drunk, sweaty people outside getting ate up by bugs, eating food that's been sitting out for hours. It's just not my thing, man. I am past all of that. I'm all about comfort in my old age. And if I'm going to go out and socialize, it's going to be on my terms and not somebody else's. I'm going full curmudgeon in my old age. Don't mind doing certain things. but it's going to be on my terms at this point, or maybe more to the more accurately my wife's terms. We'll decide when we go out or not. But 4th of July happened to fall on a day that I typically work, so I just assumed I was going to get the shift. We kind of changed the hours a little bit to where it made more sense for that particular day. So, yeah, I honestly don't mind working it. In some ways, it's going to be a blessing because then I'm not going to be tied down to doing anything. And then I'm going to be inside working, but it's an air conditioning, man. For an air conditioning, I can relax, sell beer. It's a beautiful thing. Some ways that is the epitome of the fourth, right? And it is what we've earned that I can sit in air conditioning and sell beer to people that probably don't need it. More American excess and waste. But I feel a lot better selling beer than I did all my years in retail management working for the evil empire that doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody. They want to make you think they do, but they don't. They want to give you pizza parties instead of giving you a raise. So you forget how underpaid you are because you didn't have to pay for that particular meal. But for me, for me, damn, my life's never been better. I work a job that I love. My wife and I will be married 30 years this year. I can relax. Oh, there's always a little bit of stress and making sure the bills are getting paid and that sort of thing. But and my level of stress is less than it has ever been. I remember the Robin Williams line, there's only two rules to life. Rule number one is don't sweat the little shit. And rule number two is it's all little shit. And the truth is that's pretty close to true. Other than major tragedies that we've all suffered at one point or another. Recently, my mother just passed away, and that was a little difficult, but we kind of saw it coming. But 11 years ago, my wife and I lost our son to cancer. These things you can't really predict or really get through. You just have to find a way to keep moving on, or you just don't. And grief doesn't work the same for everybody. I was witness to a conversation the other day that I had to stay out of. But it just made me go, oh my gosh, really? I hate, you know, there is something to the point that we need to relearn how to talk to each other that, you know, many of us have been told you shouldn't talk religion or politics in public, but some say that, well, that's, we need to learn how to do that. But the problem is those that typically say we need to learn how to do that don't really want to hear your opinion. They want to force their opinion of religion and politics on you and have you listen. They're not listening to your side. They don't want to hear your side. They don't care about your side. They want to be able to say this that we all need to learn how to discuss religion and politics and then go on talking about religion and politics to tell you exactly how they feel. And not only that, to tell you how you should feel. And that's the problem when religion and politics are talked about in public, is you always have that one guy who says they want to hear your opinion, but they really don't. All they want to do is shove their opinion down your throat because they are so convinced they're the smartest person in the room and they're so convinced that they're right. But they know, they're just absolutely certain. Once you hear their side, you're going to agree with them. And the second you don't, it becomes a thing. And that's when voices get raised and that's when feelings get hurt. And it's for reasons why you need to be careful where you discuss these things. And possibly in a bar where folks are trying to relax and have a good time may not be the best time to bring certain things up. Even though you want to discuss them doesn't mean everybody else does. Maybe we do need to learn how to discuss this without somebody on the other side becoming an enemy. But just because you feel the need to bring something up doesn't mean everybody else in the room has the desire to discuss it. And you bring it up as forcing them to listen to it when they just want to come in and relax and you're harsh and they're mellow, man. So quit harshing other people's mellow. Relax, man. There is a time to discuss such things, but perhaps perhaps when it's 100 degrees outside and people come into a place to have a few beers to relax and get out of the heat, maybe that's not the right time to try to force your ignorant, small-minded opinion down their throats. anyway, anyway, I digress. I don't see myself as an atheist, but I don't believe the same way that a lot of folks do. I don't see the Bible as written by the hand of God. I don't know how you can be a reasonable, rational human being and believe it was written by the hand of God because that makes absolutely no sense. Hey, Rod, how are you, man? The Bible was written a very long time ago by small-minded people that only knew their little bitty world that they lived in, and it was written to control what masses were available at the time. It's a weapon. It's always been a weapon, and folks today still use it as a weapon to get others to conform to what they think it means. Hey, man, the IPA. Well, good. I'm having a quad. It is IPA weather. And one thing I bought myself a 4-pack of an IPA today, but then I left the damn thing at work. So well, let's have a quad. Son of a bitch, I went over to get it. And I got sidetracked doing something else, but it'll be there when I go to pick it up on Wednesday. Just don't have it tonight, man. Actually, I was kind of in the mood for quad anyway because I wanted something that would pair well with a particular whiskey. As far as talking politics go, I mean, like I said earlier, nobody's going to change their mind. Everybody's already. I don't even know why we're having this debate. To be honest with you, it is unneeded. We know where both candidates stand on everything at this point. And anybody that tells you they're an independent, once again, they're lying to you and themselves. Nobody's an independent. Everybody's already got their mind made up. They just don't want to tell you which side of the aisle they're on, because they're embarrassed one way or the other. Do I wish there were better choices? Absolutely. But for me, the choice is obvious. I mean, I'm certainly not going to vote for someone that's already been proven that they're a racist, or that they're a rapist, that they're now a felon. Of course. I mean, how stupid would you have to be to vote for somebody like that? The fact that that's the best the Republican Party can do is throw up a felon. Here we go. We know he's a racist. We know he's a rapist. Now he's a felon, but we got nothing else. That is a sad statement for the Republican Party. That is the very best they could do. Yeah, we know he's terrible and he can't put together a coherent sentence, but we like that he's a racist. And that's basically what the Republican Party is telling you is that's what they like. They like the fact that he hates the same people they want you to hate. He he's as steeped in ignorance as you are, and they're excited about that. Oh man, that's good. But either way, yeah, truthfully, I wish we had better options. I mean, we should have had better options. The fact that we don't is kind of a sad commentary on us as a people. That these are the people we threw out there. A very small segment of the society decided to go vote, and this is what we're stuck with because everybody didn't get out to get their voice heard. That most of the country has become so apathetic, nobody just gives a rat's ass. They figure it's not going to matter one way or the other. It's one reason I jokingly call this segment News at 10 because I don't watch any news anymore. There is something to be said for those that say the news is designed to do nothing but make you afraid of something, and that's really the truth. I used to watch just about every cable news channel there was, and it would just make you would get consumed with all this nonsense, and it just doesn't matter. By me not watching it, the world hasn't changed. Watching it, the world hasn't changed. Not watching it, the world hasn't changed. It's that old saying: if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. We all need to quit being part of the problem and start finding a way to be part of the solution, or we truly are going to be a doomed society. And there's so much we're just bombarded with so much media and social media. I'm not sure how we can get a good candidate anymore because I mean, nothing can be hidden, right? I mean, everything's out there. Everybody makes mistakes, but now you can see everything. Were you going to vote for this guy with these problems? Or are you going to vote for this person with these problems? And here we go. I mean, quite frankly, everybody's got something to hide, man. And it's much harder to do that because we've got cameras on us 24/7. So for me, what am I going to do? Well, I've already told you who I wasn't voting for. Um, so who I am voting for shouldn't be hard for most of you to deduce. But the truth is it going to matter? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. You just hope that we as a people have enough sense not to vote for the guy that you know is a crook. You know, he's a felon who's now a convicted felon. He's been proven to be a rapist. We know he's a racist. We know he tried to overthrow the government. We know he stole classified documents. The fact that people are still willing to vote for such an individual tells me that America has lost its collective mind. that morality, you get the same people that want to talk about morality, then will vote for the most immoral candidate this country has ever seen. It's truly bizarre. But what am I going to do if the other guy wins? Well, I'll probably round it up. The way he was talking, he's going to get rid of everybody that's opposed to him. So I expect to be rounded up and thrown in a concentration camp if he wins. I'm not going to be surprised for the secret police to knock on my door. Uh, no. If Putin's puppy gets his way, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen to us. I'm just going to wait until it happens. I'm just going to sit and watch Rome burn, man, until we figure out how to do the right thing. And you wouldn't think it'd be that difficult, would you? Just we all can't agree on what the right thing is. I mean, at no point in history have the folks that are banning books been the good guys, but you still got that those there on the very far right that want to tell you exactly what you can learn and what you shouldn't learn, and they think they're the good guys. The good guys have never been the one controlling history. They're not the guys banning the books. So the fact that this is what they want to do, it tells you they're probably not the good guys. Well, Rod just posted. I meant to be posting some of your other comments, but I didn't. But I'm going to post this one. What has this world come to whisper? Well, that is a hell of a question. And what I've said this evening may not make you think that I'm an optimist, but I am. That's the thing. I am an optimist. I'm going to believe that we will eventually figure out what the right thing to do is, and support the right people. Don't support the people that want to control what you read and what you see. You got to wonder why a side wants to ban books like To Kill a Mockingbird. What's in it for them? What is their motivation? Why is that book so scary to them? Why do folks out there not want everybody to have the same rights and freedoms? Why do they only want you to learn the religion that they believe in? Why do and not only that, why do they only want you to learn their version, their version of that religion, not necessarily that religion in its purest form? And that's the problem. It's not that they necessarily want to impose their religion. They want to impose their particular small-minded religious views onto you, their interpretation of an interpretation. They want to believe something is a sin, so they want to convince you that they're right, that is a sin and everybody should believe that. But they're looking at it from a very narrow, small-minded point of view. And quite frankly, they're just not smart enough to figure that out. It's that complete cognitive dissonance where they've already decided what they want to believe, and no amount of fact is going to change that. Appreciate that, Rod. Post your comment here. Anyways, I digress. Oh, mercy. To borrow from the late Rodney King, why can't we all just get along? The truth is, there's always going to be people that don't want to get along. They have no interest in getting along with everybody. They only want to get along with a select few that believe exactly what they believe with absolutely no wiggle room at all. And that's the problem with theocracy. And that's what some of these folks want to lead us into uh, is that their theocracy, it really is, again, it's a small-minded, very narrow view of their particular interpretation of certain religious text. Anyways, I digress. I digress, man. So I'm the whiskey whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. Thank you for tuning in to News at 10, Monday night News at 10. Let me show you this bottle one more time. It's a very small distillery in New Florence, Missouri. I don't know if they refer to it as a suburb of St. Louis, but it's in that general vicinity. If you're headed towards that way, you can try to find it. It's not far out of Washington, Missouri. Um, which isn't far from New Haven, Missouri, where Pinckney Bend is, which is a great distillery as well. Let me show you this bottle. This is a very nice whiskey if you get a chance. Or anything from Wood Hat is done impeccably well, in my opinion. I am Tom, Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, Prolific Whiskey Drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom, and I'm also Tom, the Beer Whisperer. That's a nice bottle. Thank you. Biscuits. That is a good beer. That's a very approachable quad. Tom, the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, Prolific Beer Drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom, and cheese, biscuits, and gravy. All around good guy, Sancho. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.